I came home with a little something extra, and I'm not talking about the rosette, y'all. I came home with an empty kennel. Woohoo! Not. No, y'all, I did not come home empty-handed. I brought home another goat, and he is phenomenal. Yeah, y'all, I know. I didn't need another goat. I needed another goat like I needed another goat. I needed another goat. And actually, it was Mark's idea to get this goat. So he comes from a really well-known barn, a really competitive breeder. And really, outside of Willow, it was only her girls that placed first in these rings. Like, her girls were at the top of the lineup every single time in almost every class that they had a doe that was appropriate for that age group. So when I heard that she was selling a couple of bucks while we were there, I had to go look, and Mark was like, you should really go look at these bucks, because he really liked what he saw. Mark's becoming quite the dairy goat enthusiast, he really is, and God love him, he's the most supportive man in the world. He's the best husband. He has his own interests, but he really supports my interests, which is being a crazy goat lady, so he can be my crazy goat man. But we did go look at this buck. Well, there were 2 bucks. My sister-in-law bought the other one. So we both ended up buying 2 bucks at this show. And y'all, they're just so great. They have wonderful pedigrees behind them. Their dams are showing out in the show ring. They produce lots and lots of milk. They live long, productive lives, and they come from a stellar barn with stellar goats, with stellar management. And I cannot be more thankful to be welcoming this guy into our herd. Hello. Sir, did you already make a friend? Django, you ruined the moment. Did you already make a friend? You know, we haven't named you yet. You might have just named yourself Chick Whisperer. And for a breeding buck, that's like hilarious. You want to be named the Chick Whisperer? Aw, you're so gorgeous. I can't wait to bring you guys along as we kind of go through our quarantining of him, because what we've got in there with him right now is a wether that I know is probably going to go for meat purposes here. My herd is already clean tested, so I don't mind putting this wether in with him. He comes from a clean tested herd, but it's really unhealthy for goats to be by themselves for extended periods of time. And I really like to give him about 3 to 4 weeks in there, unless he seems like he's fine. But really, quarantining your animals is the best practice. It is the best practice to keep them safe, your existing herd, and keep your new herd members safe, because even if they are clean or not sick, you're introducing them to a new environment, you're introducing them to new goats, and they might not have the same immunities that your goats have in your area. It just can happen. So quarantining really is a good practice. So we will be quarantining him for 3 to 4 weeks in there with that weather until probably after our linear appraisals. Oh, that's right, we're having linear appraisals. Today's the day. Today's the day. You guys get to go eat with the big boys. I will feed you breakfast, and then later I'm going to do manicure and pedicure, and we're gonna make sure that you guys are all nice and dewormed, healthy, ready to go, and then you guys are going out on the big field with big boys. How does that make you feel? Are you happy? Are you guys happy? Or is it just to shut up and bring me my breakfast, lady? Oh, you see Judith. You see June. June loves her butt scratches. It's happy you get to go out in the big field. And soon, breeding season. Oh yeah, we like that. He's got past his 4 weeks. We're gonna take him down there, and we're gonna see how the big boys like him. Graduating to the big pen. What do you think? Mr. Lunar Howl, or Lou as I've been calling him, is from a really great farm. He's from Fairland Farms up in northern Indiana. And Dawn has wonderful stock, like just really, really good stock. She's gone to nationals. She's had several high placing animals. We actually showed with her in the last show that we were at, and just a wonderful person. This is not a girl. Here, buddy. Here, buddy boy. All right. Here's your new home. I know, they're a little bit pushy, but you can tell he's really not that small. You're okay. I'm gonna go get your buddy soon. I'm gonna go back and get your buddy, okay? Hey. No. Don't hurt him. Oh, it's not a girl. Quit. Poor feller. Flu. It's not a girl. Chill. This guy's been in our barn in that 6x6 stall where he can see the doelings coming in and out every day. He's had his friend. He's had good bedding, good water, good food, just to make sure that we don't stress him any more than he needs to be stressed. And now that it's been 28 days to 30 days, he's exhibited no signs of sickness. He's not exhibited that he's going to become overly stressed. Now, when he first did get to our farm, he got a little bit of a snotty nose, so I did give him a shot of Draxin to head off, which wouldn't be uncommon. We brought him home in a rainstorm. It was warm in the morning. It was cold that night, so I kind of am watching for that. But you can see now he's trying to be a little buck friend, be a buck with his friend, which is good. That's what we want. I want this guy to be one of our new herd sires soon. So the more that he acts like this, the better I feel. And honestly, I was kind of hoping for this because he's gonna get out here and he's gonna start smelling all of the buck urine, the cologne that's given, that the bucks give themselves. And it's going to kind of spark him to have some responses to that cologne, just like it would a doe that's in heat. Except for a doe in heat would be like, let's go honey, let's go to the honeymoon suite. This guy is feeling his oats and is like, I'm a buck too. Which is good, because I do want to use him over some does this year because of his bloodlines, and he has a lot of strengths where my herd tends to have a few weaknesses. But this is normal what's happening here. They're smelling, they're gonna bud. He's gonna act like a buck because he's the alpha. And then when you got this little fella who's he's kind of being a little crazy. Isn't unwarranted. I mean, it's a new space for him. And he's more trying to fight with Lovebug because Lovebug is the smaller of the two. But this is normal. And this might carry on for, see, he's just trying to say I'm a big buck, but really he's the bottom of the table. And you can tell he's happy to get out on grass. So honestly, this introduction is going pretty much just how I thought it would. And it's having the desired reactions that I want it to have, which is for this guy to figure out he's a buck. He is so freaking funny. He's so cute. This is all kind of like establishing who is who's in the hierarchy. Of course, that big daddy right there is the top of the hierarchy. That is our main breeding sire, Flu, even though this year he might not get as many ladies because he's put a lot of genetics into our herd. This guy will be used a lot, and then Lovebug will be used a lot because we don't have as many of Lovebug's genetics in our herd yet because we only have one doe that we're keeping from him because the other one ended up having an extra teat. Peekaboo. Peekaboo, good boy. Hi. Hi. What do you think? Are we going to be friends after our little tussle? We can be friends, but don't be mean to me, okay? We can be friends, but don't be mean. I know, even pet your pee-pee face. I will, because we're friends. In the long run, Flu, we're friends. I like you a lot. I know you just got some hormones going. The introduction's going really well. It is good to stay out here for a little while they're figuring out who is who. Because while right now there's a lot of open space and I don't feel like there's a high probability that Flu or Lovebug would hurt him. But if they were going to hurt him, it would be like in the first hour or so of him being in there. the pro is that we've got all this space. So you guys can see like the buck pen runs from down there. Then their lean-to is right there to get in and out of the elements as they so choose. There's water. He's already found the water. There's minerals. There's all of this graze in here for him to go through. So there's a lot of room for him to move away from. And I found like I found our buck pen is really good for introductions because there's enough room for the animals to move away from one another if they need to. But it's also small enough where they can they can't get away too soon. You know, it encourages them to go ahead and make friends really quick and to figure out, you know, who's going to be at the top and who's at the bottom when it comes to a hierarchy. But if it gets severe, there's a lot of room and there's a lot of obstacles for these goats to go to get away from one another. I feel like my little weather boy right there is going to try to find ways out, which he could easily fit through, like where he's at right now, because they've actually pushed that board loose, and he very well might get, yep, see, he's going to come right out. Are you going to come out? You're too big. That's okay. Keep thinking you're too big. Keep thinking you're too big. But that's why we like to use this space, and it's also got enough room where we can house more than one buck. Now, the freezer weather will be here until he goes into the freezer. He'll be in here until I feel like he's big enough. The only thing is that he did have kind of like a bout of coccidiosis that has stunted him, and he'll probably never reach his genetic potential, which is also why we weathered him and why he will go in the freezer. But it also means I'll probably end up feeding him out a little bit longer, which is not always opportune with goats or any type of animal that you're feeding or growing out for consumption. You want them to grow quickly so that they're not on your feed bill that long. But everything's going really good out here. I do think that I'm going to leave them alone while they're just kind of acquainting themselves, because nobody's being super crazy. Nobody's trying to hurt one another. I'll be outside all day, so I'll be able to hear if things get crazy. But I don't suspect that they will, because I don't know what it is, but most of my Nigerian bucks have never been as big on establishing dominance through like hurting one another like my boar bucks did when I was doing meat goats. So they would really, it was just like Clash of the Titans with those guys. These guys are tiny titans, but they don't seem like they're as keen on like, I'm gonna beat the tar out of you so you know that I am alpha. It seems like they kind of figure that out pretty quickly, unless you've got a lot of really mature bucks. And luckily we haven't brought in a super mature buck yet. We usually bring them in as babies and grow them out. All right, guys, if you have any questions about Lunar Howl, if you have any questions about who we might be pairing him up with, because breeding season, while we're in mid-September, our linear appraisals are next week. I can't even believe we're almost to linear appraisals. Then we've got HOA coming up. We're going to be going to Homesteaders of America conference in Virginia. And then I've got a couple of things that I'm working on that I hope to bring you guys along with me in the future. But if you have any questions about him, who we could see him possibly pairing up with, drop that in the comments below. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for being here with me on Mulberry Ranch Farm. We hope that you are all staying safe out there and being kind to one another. We will catch y'all in the next one. God bless you. Bye, y'all.